rivers may you cross, see mountains white and blue, but on your road, let's not forget the love I have for you.
Hello there, Seraphim17 once again. This is my Shadow of Mordor video walkthrough. This is the main mission, the Great White Graug. So we have to get on the back of one of these Caragors, I think they're called. This one in particular is a unique one, which you'll have to hunt later on in the game, I believe. And a little tip from somebody who struggled with the hunting missions: if you do them at the beginning of the game, when you get to this point, you'll be able to complete some of the challenges just by doing story missions. So for instance, when you have to get the specific kind of Caragor, if you're on this mission, this will count as hunting one. And similar to this with the Graug as well, if you get to the mission where you have to hunt a Graug and you do this mission, it'll count as the challenge. So you can do two birds with one stone. However, I didn't even realise there were hunting challenges at this point. Of course, I've seen them pop up and I was aware of them. I just didn't really know what they entailed, and I wasn't doing them because I was just trying to get through the story so that I could come and record this walkthrough for the people who wanted to see it, or the people who might need it. So I was completely unfamiliar with how that design works. But when I do pick this up on Xbox One, which I will be doing because I think this game's fantastic, I'm probably going to cover it again in some other... I don't really know what I'll do with it, but I have plans, and it'll be interesting because I'll have kind of a contrasting project of, if you want to see the difference between the versions, you know, I have two playlists that are full of videos that will show you that, and everybody's pointing out, you know, the textures and stuff that's not loading and the things that look rough, and admittedly, it is really obvious, but at the same time, I am grateful that Monolith were able to put it on this system, because you can see it's obviously difficult. Because on the next generation and on the PC, this game is astoundingly beautiful. So for it to take such a massive hit must show how difficult it truly was to get this on the system. And somebody mentioned, you know, how is it that Arkham City can look so good, or Assassin's Creed games can look so good, yet this looks so bad, and they're of comparable size, you know, they don't seem to be too much more advanced than each other. And it's a really good question, and the only answer I have is that those other games weren't designed for next-gen technology, so they were using, you know, architecture and dev kits that they were well aware of the limitations to, and they were doing their best to push them to the limits that they could, and this wasn't. This was never designed for the machine that you're watching it on right now. It was an afterthought so that they could have a larger demographic of sales. But this is the Graug boss. When he roars, he will run at you, use it to pull your bow back, shoot him in the face, he will hit the wall, and then you go up to him and you do a little bit of a stab. This is as close to throwing the Batmarang at the Titans and making them hit the wall as it gets. And then afterwards, he's going to recover. A bunch of ghouls are going to turn up, and he's going to eat the ghouls because they heal him. So you can either do what I'm doing now and you can shoot them with your arrows, or you can get close and you can attack them. If you get your combat modifier high enough, you can do the ground pound and it will kill multiple ghouls, and it's kind of pointless to try and stop him from at least eating a few, because it's one of those things where he's going to inevitably get a little bit of life back. As long as you're quick here, he won't get too much, so you don't have to worry. It's not the end of the world. It's not like that when the Red Eyes Knights on Demon Souls use grass and they get all their life back. That is considerably more cruel than this. But there was me shooting him during the wrong time. You'll see the roar when he's going to charge because you have to be at a distance from him. That was not it. That was a ground pound, so I get some more distance. There it is. The camera does a little cinematic linger on him. It zooms in slightly, it lingers, and then it shows you that he's about to charge. There was the hit. Here is the obligatory execution. Could this be any simpler, folks? Just do it until his life goes down. It's one of the criticisms I have of this game, and I don't have too many. You know, it's too easy to criticise the visuals on this system, but that's not a reflection of the game, that's just a reflection of the hardware. As far as quality, I think, a few niggles aside, this game is completely stellar for what it's tried to do and for what it's achieved, but I think the bosses are some of the weakest I've killed this year, you know. In the grand scheme of every project I've done this year, these are some of the weakest bosses you've seen me fight. and I happen to have a special place in my heart for bosses. I couldn't even tell you why. I guess it's just something I've always enjoyed, and I'm always wanting to see the next reiteration, you know, the next evolution of a boss, the progression of where we're going to take these mechanics with these systems, and unfortunately, you know, this is not that. The only way this could get any more arbitrary or cliched was as if we had to hurt him 3 times, because then it would be Mario logic, and we've been doing that shit since the NES. But we're getting very close to the kill here, but he does have quite a lot of life. There's the stab. Is this the end? No, it's not the end. It's very close, though. Very close stuff. But just, I don't know. How do you make this fight better? You've got a giant creature, you've got a cave, you've got his lackeys if he needs them. What do you do to make this a more interesting fight? I personally would have liked to have seen us be riding a Caragor. And it could have been something along the lines of he chased you for a set amount of time until he ran out of stamina, and you had to navigate this room or a set of obstacles in quite a large circle to avoid him on the Caragor's back, and you could perhaps be shooting arrows at his legs and it would lower his stamina, and when he ran out of stamina he would heave forward to get some breath back, and then you could leap off the Caragor onto his back and do some damage. And then he'd shake you off, you'd get back on your Caragor, and he'd commence to chase you again with a new move or a range attack. And that could have happened 3 to 4 times, and each of the additional sequences could have had him having new techniques, getting more desperate, closer to death. I don't know, there's an infinite amount of possibilities that boss could have done, but unfortunately all of that was restricted to a very simple, very repetitive bait and switch and then kill. So thank you for watching. You take care now.